Kyoto is one of the most touristy destinations here in Japan, and for good reason. But how do you enjoy sacred places like this one without being stuck between crowds? And no, we're not here at the crack of dawn. In fact, it's 3 p.m. Well, in this video, we'll show you how to go from this to this. We just got off the train station and it's an absolute chaos. It's just packed with tourists. It feels like you're in an amusement park. Our first stop will be a shrine.
The Fushimi Inari Taisha.
So at the very beginning, there seems to be quite a few concessions within the shrine complex. So I guess you can grab a few snacks or souvenirs. You got more over on this side. So this right here will tell you your fortune. So you're supposed to shake it. And then there's a little hole over here. And this stick comes out. And there's a number on it.
27.
And you go over there, you tell them your number, and they give you a piece of paper that tells you your fortune. Mine is number 31. Oh, it's how old I am. Whoa. 31 and 27. If we could only read it, huh?
Good thing we have Google Translate, right?
Number 27. This is Olivia's. You ready, Olivia?
See my future.
If she is a god who is full of dust, she will not do anything wrong. Is arrogant and stubborn. You're stubborn.
I'm not arrogant. I'm stubborn.
Not arrogant. And views the world too lightly.
No, I view the world pretty seriously.
Yeah. Which says I'm lucky. So today, since it says I'm lucky, on the train I've been learning how to play Pachinko, which is a really, really big thing here. It's basically a combination of an arcade game and gambling. Together, one good game. Okay, Pachinko. Basically, the moral of the story is we're gonna go play Pachinko later today. So let's go find the torii gates. There's 1,000 of them.
I've been really curious why all of the gates and a lot of the color at the Shinto shrines are all this like bright, like rich orangey red color, and apparently it's because they believe the color is supposed to ward off anything bad or evil spirits and disaster. So it makes complete sense, and I love the color.
By the way, the background behind you is just like so comical. Gives you a really good idea how packed it is. No matter what time of day you come, you're gonna experience a lot of this. Feels like we're completely enclosed. These are like within reach when you extend your arms, and they're a lot tighter together. It's really cool. Okay, let's see what they say. These are just names of companies. Yamato City, Yamaguchi, Real Estate. Of companies.
Actually, someone was like, this is so beautiful, I went home and got a tattoo as a memory, and it actually meant like Nissan or something.
I bet you they're like sponsors in the upkeep of the place. Like Olivia said, we're in the Fushimi Inari Taisha, and it is believed to be the oldest shrine here in Japan. And the shrine's name comes from the goddess Inari, where it means where rice grows, which according to a myth, Inari was a goddess that came to Japan during the famine and descended from heaven on a white fox, carrying sheaves of cereal and helped Japan overcome the famine. That's pretty cool. I gotta say though, Olivia and I discussed it, and we're gonna try to find a shrine that is not touristy. I think it's gonna be a very hard mission to accomplish. I know there's over 1,000 just here in Kyoto, but seeing how the streets are just like filled with like seas of tourists, I don't think we're gonna be able to. This definitely feels very, very touristy and almost a waste of time,
Yeah.
to be completely honest. You're packed like a sardine underneath these things that you think that they have like such a spiritual thing,
Yeah,
and then you
that's what I
read
would
the
say.
letters and it's companies' names.
Sorry, there were so many people that we had to move. I find it kind of ironic that what is supposedly the oldest shrine in Japan is probably, I mean, it makes sense to be the busiest, but there's like that parallel of such importance and then feeling like you're kind of at like a theme park in a way. I hate saying that because it's really beautiful. Like yesterday was such a different environment. I don't know if it was, I think it's already less touristy, but it just felt a lot different.
Right now we're right here, so I bet you the further we're going, especially towards the top of Mount Inari, it's going to be less people.
Yeah.
So,
Or we get to the top and everyone's just hanging out there.
okay, this got a bit better. We left the gates and
We're in the forest.
we're in a forest, and I think because it's not paved and it's not the gates, the crowds don't care to come up here, and it already feels so much better with the birds. Listen. Oh, it has information about the birds. Wow. Oh, that's bamboo?
Yeah. We're going to the bamboo forest too, which is literally just like tons of that.
They're so big. I'm used to the bamboo in Greece where it's like the size of my finger. These seem like a lot older, and I bet you there's no company names written on these. Do you think we found a private temple? The moral of the story to this, what has this trip taught us and other trips like, and it seems to be like that everywhere we go?
To always go a little bit further. Not even that much further.
Just a little bit.
We literally just made one different turn and we're in a completely different
It was so much chaos, especially if you don't like being around crowds. It just feels very overwhelming. And we're in the middle of the day here. We took a little bit of a different path that required a bit more walking.
And now it's like we're in a small little temple shrine in the middle of the forest.
The same thing goes with grocery lines, passport lines, all that. You just have to walk a little further. For some reason, the crowds don't want to take 10 to 20 seconds more to walk and find a new line that has way less people. It just takes 10 seconds more. Well, in this case, it just took 10 minutes more. Our internet connection is not working. We cannot translate what each shrine means, and I do think based on the statutes, you dedicate a candle or an incense to the appropriate place where you want your prayers to come true. So I'm gonna go based on visuals. This one seems more like a rice worker, so probably for like good crops, but maybe it's more symbolic and it can be like for your work to go well.
This one looks like protection or something.
This is really cool. Come a little closer. This is exactly what we were hoping to find.
In Shinto tradition, visitors purify themselves before praying by washing their hands and rinsing their mouths with clean water. A common shrine ritual follows a pattern of 2 bows, 2 claps, and a final bow. Each movement has a meaning, and clapping is thought to summon the deity or clear away negative energy.
In the Shinto religion, they believe in spirits and that when someone dies, they're still around you. Energy always exists. You never cease to exist. So they see death as just another part of the journey. I think that's a really good way of dealing with grief because you're not grieving for someone that was lost forever. That was a very little nice break from our hike.
It's very relaxing.
Onwards we go to Mount Inari. And by taking this path, you don't even need to go to the bamboo forest because from what we've been seeing, the crowds are going to be there. Plenty as well. You have this all to yourself. And in this one, it's not as dense, but in other spots, you can find quite a few. The vegetation is changing a bit as we're getting closer to the top, and we're getting less bamboos and more trees, and it's really cool because I've never seen trees like this before. It's really cool, and wow, look at this cherry bloom behind me. And I gotta say, we thought we were going to be late for the cherry bloom in this trip. We got Japan April 2nd, today is April 5th, and the cherry bloom should have reached its peak by now. However, this year it's a bit later. So we're seeing a lot of trees that are half bloomed and then that are waiting for the rest of the buds to bloom. It's really beautiful because you're still getting some kind of bloom. And we thought there was a good chance we would miss it because they would bloom early this year because of how warm February, I think, was. But it turned out March was a bit colder.
So now it makes sense why it said it only took 40 minutes to get to the top of the mountain, and it looks so close. It's because at this point you have about 15 minutes of steep staircase.
We're definitely working on our appetite now, huh, Olivia? "15 minutes of this and we're gonna have some tight booty." There's a few more people up here than the path we took because there's 3 different paths I think you can choose to come up, but still nothing compared to the crowds that we saw down there. So if you want to have the gates to yourself and take some really cool pictures, come to the top and you'll find plenty that are empty. On the bright side of having all this up is when you get thirsty on your hike, you have a vending machine to go get your drink.
Japan. Oh, so it lights up based on how much you put in, what you can get. Our favorite. We first tried this in Korea, and ever since, we are just in love with it. It's an electrolyte water that tastes really nice. Now, my new goal is to find a monkey.
We didn't find any monkeys in Kyoto, but we will have a monkey encounter in a more tropical region of Japan in just a few days from now. Heading back down to grab some lunch, and look how empty this is. Ooh, there are people, but not that many. Okay, the time is about 4:30 right now, and we're coming down from the popular route, and it is far less crowded than it was before. And it is a really nice experience as well. We had more of the nature in the other one. It felt more like a hike. We got to see a bamboo forest, which you don't really get to see. You get a small glimpse of bamboos here, but you get a more local feel. You have some locals' houses here. I was not expecting that. I thought this whole thing was the compound. We're surrounded by local apartments. We saw someone come back from work and go into their apartment. The vibes are so good right now. The crowds are where the good views are and the good pictures. And this is just, I feel very zen. And Olivia is very happy because he found something she was looking for.
がとうございます。ありがとうございました。
Just when the hunger is getting really strong, we come across one of my favorite snacks, but in a flavor we haven't tried yet. So typically this is with like a sweet soy sauce, which we will try at another traditional place, I hope. But this stand had miso, so it's a white miso sauce with like grilled mochi dumplings. It's in a cute little wooden boat too. Very excited to try this flavor. It's really nice. I've only tried it from the convenience store so far, so the dumplings were a lot like chewier, even though they're really good. These are a lot softer. It's really nice. Highly recommend these.
These are more delicate, a little bit of crunch and soft on the inside, and having them warm is definitely a different experience. I'm really liking the miso one. I don't know which one I like more. They're both equally good. Yeah. And it's like sweet and salty at the same time without being too sweet or too salty. Like I can't really explain it. We took the train and now we've come to the more central Kyoto area. So let's see how the crowds are now. And we're gonna go grab some sushi to eat and then walk around the river. We got off the metro stop in Sanjo, and I gotta say, this is such a beautiful area, and we're right by the river, and the water is so clean for such a big city. Crystal clear. We haven't gotten any bad smells at all in our time here in Japan, which is great. I love it. Everything's just so clean, and you can see how cool. This is like a local hangout spot. People come and hang out, and then you have the cherry blossoms over there. We noticed as we're walking along the river these traditional Japanese houses that are called machiya, and a lot of these date all the way back to the 8th and 11th century. Of course, these look in really good condition, so I doubt they're that old. I'm really glad we're finally seeing some because I feel like our base has been in Osaka because it's the easiest to just go around, and this is our first day here in Kyoto. And seeing the more traditional houses here really makes you feel like you're in Japan. And we just came into a very full bloom street. It's the most we've seen so far on this trip. Check this out.
Like many things in Japan, cherry blossoms carry deep symbolism. They represent renewal and the arrival of spring, but also serve as a reminder of life's fleeting nature. Beyond their beauty, cherry blossom petals and leaves are edible and often used in traditional Japanese sweets and teas.
We are about to go have some sushi here in Kura Sushi. We actually had it in our first video here, and it's really good. It's good for when you're on a budget. And a little secret, maybe not so secret, if you go online and you put yourself on the wait list, you can just come straight in, check in at the first computer you see, and then you're not gonna have to wait in that crowd that you're about to see. I mean, you will have to wait a little bit, but maybe not for an hour like you would if you just walked in. This has been our favorite. It's a shrimp gratin with cheese, and it's just, you put it in your mouth and it's just the flavors just explode. Give you, I mean, Japanese mayo. If you watched their previous video, I was just in shock how amazing it is and full of flavor. And the cheese they put here on top is out of this world. My camera woman over there cannot contain herself. She's eating a piece right now as we're speaking. I think this is like the best thing they have in the menu. And, ooh, a squid tempura just came.
After checking out, we realized we had eaten enough sushi to win not one, but 2 anime posters.
That was so good. Oh,
So red.
I am so full, I wanted to get a dessert. We had 21 plates of sushi and it was $43, plus we got 2 posters. From our research, we figured out we should be in Osaka because it's less people, it's a bigger city, it's cheaper to stay. But from what I'm seeing and experiencing right now is this is a lot calmer than Osaka. Osaka was crazy last night when we went. It was so chaotic, so many people, and this feels a lot more, maybe all these people are doing the same thing, staying in Osaka, and then by like evening,
They go back and they party where they're staying.
Yeah, and now we're gonna walk around a little bit to digest and
find dessert.
Oh my god, so beautiful. What did we get for dessert, Olivia?
We got my favorite brand of chocolate-covered almonds that I used to get from a little Japanese store in the US.
They are probably the best chocolate-covered almonds I've ever had. It's time for Pachinko! We weren't allowed to film in there, so we couldn't show you the game.
Very difficult.
And we lost, although we did research and we thought we would know what we were doing. We had no idea.
As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing so you won't miss the incredible episodes we have coming up, including our trip to the most remote place in Japan.